if I was Tank and if I would advise him, I wouldn't fight Devin Haney without no rehydration clause because Devin Haney's jumping up to 165 a night of the bout. That's crazy. Like I don't that was a big topic because
90 seconds.
you don't normally see fighters jump up that big. So I think that and Tank right now out of the Tank ain't even probably like in camp mode right now. Tank probably walking around 146 the most. He's a small guy, so that would be a huge disadvantage if the world can't fault Tank for wanting to fight these guys at a catchweight. That's my friend, but also the reality of it. This is a guy that's really coming up from 130. You know what I'm saying? Coming up from 130 and fighting guys like Devin, guys like Brian Dar, they're bigger than him. So I don't think that he should jump into a fight with Devin without some type of clause or something because Floyd Mayweather can make a 23-year-old kid like Canelo fight at a catchweight. Why can't it be on an even playing field when it comes to Devin and Tank? If
I told you. I said I told you. I told you. Richardson Hitchins, he weighs in on a potential future fight with none other than Gervonta Tank Davis, the face of boxing, and Devin Haney. What did he say? You guys heard the clip. So Richardson Hitchins, that was from TBV, the Boxing Voice. Check them out. And he gave his honest opinion. He gave his honest take. Now it's time for the ego take. You gonna get some of the ego work because I've been telling you. I told you, suckers. I shook up the game. I shook up the world. Funny, I love my job. I truly love my job, bro. What I do can't be duplicated. There's a lot of imitators, a lot of imposters, a lot of people, they want to be like Ego, but they can't do it like Ego, baby. It's so funny to me that I get on the mic. Some people think, like I've heard all kinds of stuff about, when you do something such as YouTube, you hear all types of things about yourself. People tell you what you're thinking. People falsify things you didn't say. Like I've heard people say I said certain things on fight predictions and I never even gave a prediction. So it's like, where did you even get that? If I've never put out a prediction and you're saying I picked this fighter or that fighter to win, where did you get that when none of my videos contain a prediction? So I've been in the game long enough to know how the game works. And for me, the game is just a waiting game. All I got to do is lace these tracks. You guys, the great thing about YouTube is it's evergreen. The things that I say, the message that I speak, at some point, one of two things are going to happen. One of two. It's going to be proven right, which most often it is, or it's going to be proven wrong. And as a man, I don't care either way because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying, and I know what I'm saying is pure. I've weighed in exactly on this subject of Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney. And again, on the internet, you're going to have different opinions. Some people understood what I said and got it the first time. Some people didn't. But now, with Richardson Hitchins saying almost identically what I said, it's becoming harder and harder to deny what's being said. Now, I know the haters, they're going to say, oh, a bunch of excuses. You're making excuses to not see the fight and wompty. That's just not how boxing works. Gervonta Davis is the A side. Devin Haney, he's on his own path. He's been doing great for himself, him and his dad, promoting the heck out of his last fight. And they're doing their thing. I take nothing away from it. But you got idiotic boxing fans, you foolish imbeciles, you cantankerous bastards who they get up here and try to tell me, Boxing Ego, the king of boxing, that I'm wrong and everything I'm saying is right. Richardson Hitchins just told you he's a 140-pound fighter, right? So you can't say, oh, he's Ego, you're just a YouTuber, you don't know. He's a fighter in the weight class that is in question, and he's saying if I were Tank, I would put some sort of clauses regarding weight because he's really a 130-pound guy who would be moving up because we know he fights at lightweight, which is 135, but he's saying he's a smaller fighter. Devin Haney just rehydrated an astronomical amount of weight overnight, 25 pounds or whatever it was, from 140 to 165. That's a lot of weight. So if you're the A side and you have the leverage, why would you not make it on an even playing field? Why would you potentially, if you're going to fight somebody, why would you, from a strategic point of view, why would you not consider that? Why would you just give up any type of leverage that you have, right? It just doesn't make sense. So I agree with what Richardson Hitchins was saying because I was saying it before Richardson Hitchins even said it. This is boxing. This is the way of the world. I understand when you're a person such as a Gervonta Davis and you're the face of boxing, and you have to keep in mind he came up under the wing of Floyd Mayweather. So he still got old Floyd haters, because he was with Mayweather Promotions. You see Leonard Ellerby in the back, right? So he's still getting hate from that. And then, over the years, other people either gravitated towards Gervonta Davis or went against him, or a lot of times Gervonta Davis beat fighters that you wanted to beat him or thought could beat him, right? Guys like Leo Santa Cruz brutally knocked out. Rolly got knocked out. Hector Luis Garcia, Dominican boxer and Olympian, got knocked out and quit, right? Ryan Garcia, undefeated, got knocked out and dropped, right? These types of things. So at the end of the day, Gervonta Davis has all the looks in the world, but with that, when you're at the top of the totem pole, heavy is the head that holds the crown. And Gervonta Davis is living proof of that. So it does come with some hate. Some people, they just want to see you pushed to the limit or broken or beaten, or they want to see you lose. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. They want to see you lose. So they think Devin Haney or anybody else would, who they think could give you a challenge. They want those said fighters to call the shots, and that's just never how boxing has worked. And I'm glad Richardson Hitchins said what he said because this is a reality. Again, what I'm saying may not be popular, but I don't care. I don't say things that are popular. I don't care what's popular. It doesn't even, when you're a real man, when you're a true alpha, it doesn't even cross your mind how people are going to receive it. I could care less. I hit the record button, speak my mind, lace these tracks up, and I work on the next project. And then when I stop recording, I go on about my day, my real life relationships and everything else. You know what I mean? Gervonta Davis, this is him versus Mario Barrios. You could clearly see there's a size differential. He still fought him at 140 pounds. He did win the fight. We don't know how he felt at 140 pounds. Maybe he felt like, it'll take time to acclimate, move up. People are so eager and thirsty because they think Devin Haney or whoever has the antidote to the sickness called Gervonta Davis, aka Abdul Wahid. So as a result, they put in whatever hurdle they think that he can't topple. And it's funny because you see how big Ryan Garcia was. Look, just look. I mean, be realistic. No, this is not about being a PBC fan or a Tank fan or a Devin fan. Just realistically speaking, this is perfect timing, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. All my videos, they're freestyles. This isn't pre-recorded or rehearsed, but the timing is oh so good. I just stumbled on this picture randomly, and tell me hand over heart that you do not see a size differential in Ryan Garcia and and Gervonta Davis right here and now. Just from this one picture. I mean, he looks completely different, yet he still fought the undefeated Ryan Garcia. And it's funny because the haters don't even make sense. What they say doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not even mad if you want to see Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney. That's not an issue. But the issue is that you think it'll happen under a B-side's terms. It's that simple, right? So weight, as I stated, and now Richardson Hitchins is stating, is going to be a huge issue in this particular fight because that has to be situated. When I said it, some people say, oh, you're making excuses that Tank hasn't even said. Okay, well, Tank's homie and fellow fighter Richardson Hitchins just said the same thing. And the reason I said it was because this is the elephant in the room. To me, it is glaringly obvious that weight would have to be, or would probably be, a major component in this fight. Usually the number one thing in making these big mega fights is money, which that in and of itself is definitely probably going to be an issue, getting the splits right and stuff like that. But just behind money for a Gervonta Davis fight and Devin Haney, I would say just behind the money factor, which is probably always going to be the number one, because fighters, they want to know how much they're a prize fighter. I'm a prize fighter, dummy. I fight for a prize. They fight for a prize. So they're going to want to know how much they're getting compensated and paid for their fights. But beyond that, I think weight is always going to be a situation when you have a guy who's rehydrating 25 pounds. And again, you got a 140-pound talented fighter, and that's Richardson Hitchins, and he's saying the same thing that I said. He said, I would put a clause on Devin Haney if I was Tank, because that's just an extraordinary amount of weight. Devin Haney was on Ariel Helwani's show, the MMA Hour, and he was asked, even Ariel Helwani, he said, like, man, how did you rehydrate 25 pounds? Devin Haney said, I drank a lot of water. I maybe drank too much water. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water, to gain 25 pounds, and it is what it is. But again, people think that Tank Davis is going to be at their beck and call, and they could just scream stuff on Twitter, X, scream stuff in Facebook groups, scream stuff on YouTube and comment sections, and that's going to push the business. But I'm here to let you know, as a person who's been making money in this business a decade plus, that is not how boxing works. You're not going to be able to, quote unquote, strong arm an A-side fighter just because you want. Now, it's up to Tank Davis what he wants, because he hasn't come out and said any of this stuff. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion. It's very foolish, we'll say, to expect the negotiations to not go Gervonta Davis's way. And again, it's funny because you have idiotic fans who think, oh, if I leave a bunch of hateful comments, it's going to impact the business. Tank has a very, very strong team around him. And even though, like, people are like, oh, Tank never made these excuses, he doesn't have to. This is just common sense that weight is going to be a factor in terms of making this fight. And some people say, oh, I don't care, I don't want to hear that. It's excuses. Those are also people who don't understand the boxing business and likely do not own successful businesses, right? Because nothing in the business world or realm works like that, where you just bypass all of the information and all the data that you have and ignore that and just do whatever to close a deal. It just doesn't happen in the world of boxing or in the world of business, period. That's like, let's say you like PBC, and then Jeff Bezos and Amazon Prime, they're trying to negotiate a deal with PBC and Al Heyman. And you're just like, all right, hurry this up. Who cares? Jeff Bezos, just give him the money for PBC and put him on Amazon Prime. It's not how it works. You got to go over, hey, this is what we bring to the table. This is our brand. We have a roster of this many fighters. These are the data points. Here's the pay-per-view success and buy rates of blah, blah, blah. And then you negotiate a deal to see what makes sense. It's not just, oh, Jeff Bezos, you got a bunch of money, just give him the money. That's just not how business works. And it's pretty foolish and pretty stupid and kind of impatient for real, that fans think that boxing works on those terms. Like, look at classic fights. I'm talking Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, right? Fights like this, where you have a fight, the public wanted to see the fight. One fighter was with HBO, one fighter was with Showtime. There were other probably potential obstacles, purse, who gets top billing, things like that. And in that situation, that was harder to decipher possibly at that given time who was the A side, because Lennox Lewis was well accomplished as a fighter and he's Olympian, stuff like that. When it comes to Tank versus anybody, including Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Edwin De Los Santos, El Rayo, there's no debate who's the A side. So Richardson, Hitchins told you what I've already told you, that weight would be an issue. Devin Haney, and here's the other thing, Devin Haney moved up because that's where he is in his career. Just because he decided that has no bearing on the next fighter. So all fighters have to move up from 35. So Keyshawn Davis has to move up from 35 to 40 right now, not in the future, but right now because Devin Haney did, or because Teofimo did. That's not how fighters operate. You do what's best for you and what makes sense for you in your given career, right? And as I said, Gervonta Davis is a superstar. Everybody's got to play by his rules. It's that simple. Subscribe to the channel. I told you.